I knew the HOA apocalypse was hitting Scottsdale the second Karen Voss powerwalked across my front yard like she owned the whole Sonoran Desert, orthopedic sandals slapping the concrete, and that damn clipboard clutched like the 10 Commandments. "Ethan Brooks," she barked, butchering my name for the 100th time. "Your lawn is a seasonal eyesore. Bylaw Section 4.2. All visible debris cleared within 48 hours of tree shedding." I leaned on my rake, sun beating down like it was laughing at both of us. "Karen, that tree's on HOA land, and I already cleaned it yesterday." She narrowed her eyes behind her giant sunglasses. "We'll see what the board says." I didn't argue. Feeding trolls only makes them hungrier. The next morning I stepped outside with my coffee and almost dropped the mug. My entire yard was buried under a stinking, wet avalanche of leaves, twigs, fast food wrappers, even a couple of used coffee cups. The smell hit like regret. Security footage at 3:07 a.m. showed it crystal clear. 3 guys in glowing HOA vests rolling up with industrial blowers, systematically dumping every scrap from the community park straight onto my property like it was their personal landfill. Karen's voice crackled on the audio. "Make it hurt. He needs to learn respect." I didn't yell. I grinned. "Sophie, honey, grab your bike helmet. We're going on a field trip." My 8-year-old bounced out, eyes sparkling. I fired up the old John Deere, attached the front loader, and spent the morning scooping every last soggy leaf into the trailer. By noon the rig was groaning. I drove it straight down the palm-lined street, past Karen's McMansion, straight to the community pool. The one the HOA had just blown 25 grand resurfacing. The one Karen spent every board meeting bragging about like it was her personal infinity edge to heaven. Without a word I opened the gate and dumped the whole reeking mountain right into the sparkling blue water. Sophie clapped like it was fireworks. Half the neighborhood drifted out to watch. Nobody said a thing, but the smirks told the whole story. 10 minutes later Karen screeched up in her white minivan, face the color of a ripe tomato. "You have lost your damn mind, Ethan." I climbed down from the tractor, wiping my hands on my jeans. "Nah, Karen. Just returning community property to its rightful owner. Organic delivery, compliments of the bylaws you love so much." Her mouth opened and closed like a beached guppy before she spun on her heel and stormed off, already speed dialing her cronies. The fine arrived the next day, taped to my door, not mailed, $5,000 for vandalism and illegal dumping. No hearing, no appeal, just pay up or else. I forwarded the photo to my buddy Maya at City Code Enforcement. She called back laughing before I even sat down. "Not enforceable, Ethan. They're a private club playing dress up as government. Document everything. They just handed you the rope." That night my motion lights snapped on at 2:15 a.m. camera caught a guy in a reflective vest unscrewing my truck's gas cap and pouring something in. Smell of bleach hit me the second I got outside. He was already gone. Police report filed, footage handed over. The officer shook his head. "This isn't kids. This is targeted." 2 days later Sophie came home from school in tears. The principal had received an anonymous concerned citizen letter from the HOA claiming my unsafe environment might require child protective services. That was the moment I stopped playing nice. I marched straight to the school, showed the principal the footage, the bleach, the fake fine. His face went pale. "This is way out of line." Back home I called Harold Monroe, the retired civil litigator, who owed me a favor from the deck job I did for his mom. He showed up that evening with suspenders and a grin. "Ethan, these clowns just bit the wrong hand. Cease and desist first, then we bury them." I served Karen the papers myself while she was pruning her perfect hedges. "Morning, Karen. Little early for topiary, isn't it?" She spun, clippers raised. "You can't be on my property." "Actually," I said, holding out the envelope, "Section 12.3 of your precious bylaws says personal service is valid anywhere on HOA land. Funny how the rules work both ways when they bite you." Her face drained of color. The emergency board meeting was supposed to be closed door. I showed up anyway with a lawn chair and Bluetooth speaker 10 feet from the clubhouse. The second the doors cracked I hit play. Clear as day, Karen's voice on the crew's bodycam audio. "Dump it all on Brooks. Make an example." Gasps rippled through the crowd that had gathered. Someone yelled, "You did what to his little girl's school?" The mood flipped faster than a desert dust devil. Petitions started circulating that same night. Within a week 3 board members resigned. Karen tried to cling to power, but a recall vote in the community center ended her reign in a landslide. Sophie handed out ballots wearing a neon, honorary volunteer vest and a proud grin. But the real earthquake came when interim president Greg finally let me see the books. 3 nights at my kitchen table, and I found it. Invoices to ghost landscaping companies, pool repairs that never happened, and $75,000 funneled over 3 years to Voss Premier Services LLC. Karen's own shell company registered 2 counties over. Her name was on every document, bold as brass. Harold whistled when I showed him. This isn't civil anymore. This is grand theft and wire fraud with a pretty bow on top. Sheriff's Detective Ruiz took the box of evidence and didn't blink. We've heard whispers about this board for years. Nobody ever brought receipts. Karen tried one last desperate glossy flyer claiming smear campaign. Too late. Subpoenas landed. The next Tuesday a cruiser sat in her driveway. She was taken in for questioning, wearing the same pastel sweater she'd worn the day she started this war. No cuffs on camera, yet, but the local paper ran the arrest report anyway. At sentencing the courtroom was packed. Dennis the disabled vet spoke about the ramp request that sat unread for 14 months. Sandra the retired nurse talked about living in fear of retaliation. I kept it simple. She didn't just steal money. She stole our trust, then tried to steal my daughter's sense of safety. The judge didn't raise his voice. You abused a position of trust to enrich yourself and silence your neighbors. 7 years, state prison, full restitution. Karen stared straight ahead, silent for the first time in her life. The neighborhood isn't perfect now. The pool finally got cleaned, after we left the leaf sludge as a reminder for 3 weeks, but the real change was deeper. We built a big wooden community board by the clubhouse with the new bylaws laminated and weekly updates. Sophie painted the header in bright green. Our voice, our rules. Greg stepped down after the first fair election. New board members are teachers, mechanics, a librarian, even the teenager who runs the neighborhood Instagram. No matching polos, no power trips. People started showing up at my door just to say thanks and ask how to help. We fixed the neglected sidewalks, installed Dennis's ramp in one Saturday, trimmed the trees that actually needed it. Every time someone walks past my driveway, they still joke. Still can't believe you used a tractor. I just smile and tell them the truth. Sometimes the only way through the mess is to make an even bigger one, and let the people who caused it choke on it. So tell me in the comments, was Karen Voss the real villain, or were the rest of us who stayed quiet for years the ones who truly got exactly what we deserved? Drop your thoughts below. If you hate HOA overreach, smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next story where karma doesn't just knock, it drives a John Deere right through the front door.